Right.
But that's a definite great advice. I'm definitely gonna take that with me, put in my pocket, of course.
Yeah, have fun with it. When you're on the stage, that's when you're free. That's when you can create. And the thing is, the business side, the dark side, we call it.
Hmm.
Uh, that is the problem. That is the situation where it's like, okay, you want to be a comedian? Okay, fine, get on stage, do your thing. But when the lights are down and you have to experience the business side, that is the side that people don't really want to talk about because it's almost, believe it or not, people won't tell you, but it's almost as worse as the rap game. Fights, all types of stuff because there's plagiarism. Sometimes the egos get in the way. Some people will bring their personal lives into the business aspect of it, and it's just really really bad. You can get blackballed. I've gotten blackballed before
Yeah.
by the very people who I thought were my friends, and I learned the hard way that even though we're being funny guys and we're being entertaining, this is still a business, and business has no taste, no sound, no smell, no feel. It is just business. And once you mix friendship with business, it's always a disaster. So you can try to be cordial, you can try to be nice, respectful, but you still have to keep in mind, and that's the first thing, that this is a business. It's a funny business when we're on stage, but it's a doggy dog world, when the world is not watching. It's it can get stressful. It really can. People, but again, people see the surface, the person on the stage, but they don't see all the situations that that professional entertainer has gone through mentally and emotionally. Believe it or not, like let's say, right now, at one time it was a really huge buzz with social media guys, doing the comedy or whatever. And, the thing is, they're not comedians. Only a couple of them were comedians. The DC Young Flies, who I love, the Desi Banks, who's really working hard, who I love, and a few more. But there are guys on social media just doing funny stuff and calling themselves a comedian. And for the comedians, it was kind of unfair in a sense, but I had to get my social media game up. But it was kind of unfair because these guys have never been on stage. They've never touched the mic, but they would say they're comedians. Then they would start booking shows, and people would go and see the most popular person on social media,
Mm.
not the worthy person. So there are a lot of comics that you don't know who are funny as hell. I mean, funny as all get out. Even the funnier than the comics but you don't hear about them because they're not really popular on social media. I have this thing where I always say it's not who you know, it's who you're looking at. But again, in a social media world, it's all about who can get the most views. So the people who you see that are popular on social media, they're not always the funniest or the most talented. They're just really, 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 really good at social media. It's not that I'm hating on them because
Oh,
you have to be careful what you say in this day and time because we're living in a very, very, very sensitive area.
you're correct.
And now everybody's sensitive, so now people look at constructive criticism uh, as hate. You can say something out of the goodness of your heart, and it's constructive criticism. And what do we say? Oh, you just hate. You just no. We just and then when they find out that you're right, yeah, maybe you was right. So, but that is a really big defensive mechanism we use because we don't want to be told the truth, or we don't want to be told about ourselves, or we just don't want that constructive criticism. But again, that's where we are now. So, comics who really write, who really perform all their lives, and they really work hard, they see this, and this guy just shoot past them. And they're like, wait a minute, I've been working my ass off. I've been doing this. And now they putting this guy here. Now, that right there, internally, that can be a huge blow. But you can't say anything. You just got to keep working. But that's just the way of the world. That's just what it is now. People will take popularity over talent now. And It's like sometimes we ask ourselves, we have conversations all the time as comedians. Damn. Um, so being funny doesn't mean anything now, does it? It doesn't mean a thing now. I mean, you just if I go out and get a million views and I tell everybody I'm a comedian and I haven't even done comedy, I can blow up. That's the way of the world. So it's a lot that goes with this game. You just got to keep doing what you're doing and keep being creative and being faithful and not let those situations get you bitter because that's a such thing too as far as comedians getting bitter in the business. So anybody get bitter in the business when things are not going their way and they're seeing everybody shooting past them off of gimmicks. If you don't stay focused on what you're doing, you get bitter.
Yeah, honestly,
A
honestly,
lot to unpack here, huh?
it's a lot to attack here because you are definitely you're definitely a pioneer within this industry, of course, because you've seen people come and go. You've seen them,
Mm-hmm.
come and go. You've seen them, quit. You've seen them. They were almost there, and it was almost just like they got knocked back down because of,
Right.
other, things that's going on within their life. And then, of course, like you said, I never would have known that the comedy industry is more brutal, more
Oh,
cutthroat than the rap industry. Like that's crazy,
it is.
and to hear your firsthand experience, of course, it's really a lot to take in. But I do wanna of course, ask you, since you in the beginning, you didn't really consider comedy, but when you did consider it, what was your schedule really like? Was it 7 days a week? Did you have a regular 9 to 5 and do comedy on the side, um, or did you solely rely on the income from the comedy clubs?
Um, well, once you get started as a comic, you are considered an opener or a feature. So your work really depends on the headliner, the main guy, because he gets to pick who he wants to open for. And I was Ricky Smiley's opener for a number of years. And then other comics saw me like what I was doing. And they would choose me to be an opener or whatever. It was just about relationships. So sometimes it could be good, sometimes it could be bad, and sometimes the money could be consistent, and then you can go through dry spells. Um, but when I got out of college, I was working at this rental car agency. Um, and again, that's another great experience of mine because the my manager, he took a risk on me. His name was Joe Catozzi. Really cool guy. He believed in what I was doing. He saw my dream, my vision, and what he would do, he would let me get the rental cars for the weekend for free
Wow.
and just go to gigs. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow, I appreciate it. So, you know, um, that was really cool. That was really a wonderful thing for me. It was a huge blessing that somebody would do that for me, and because he took a risk and let me get those cars. But yeah, I would go all over the nation in those rental cars,
Mhm.
driving to different shows for what I thought was a lot of money back then, but it was really nothing. But it was the experience, and it was really fun. It was really fun. So I started getting booked so much until I had to eventually quit my job. And to other comics who are watching this interview or any other entertainers, keep your day job as long as you can. Keep it as long as you can. Don't, hey, I'm just gonna stop and start doing this. I'm gonna stop and start doing basket weaving. I'm gonna stop and do it. No, keep that job as long as you can until your schedule doing the comedy or whatever you decide to do starts really interfering in a way to whereas you got to choose one or the other. If your comedy or your rap career or your singing gets so demanding and people are really beating down the doors for you, okay, now you know it's time to let it go and step out on faith. But don't you take your ass out there and like, I'm gonna quit my job and start. No, 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 no. Yeah, so that that was something that I felt like I was smart on because I was really, really afraid to
Mhm.
leave my job. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, my faith was tested because as soon as I quit my job, I went through a dry spell. I'm like, wow, but I stayed faithful. I stayed grinding. I was humble, and it eventually picked back up, and here I am today, struggling.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Um, that it's really amazing how people people that you come in contact with are a part of your journey.
Right,
The ones that see potential in you, the ones that, aren't out here, like you said, people that consider constructive criticism hating. There's a difference between constructive criticism and it's coming from the heart versus like hate. And
right,
this situation with your, manager, giving you the rental cars for free so that you can go to your gigs, that only shows how much he definitely believed in your
right.
talent. He saw it in you, maybe before you saw it in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we have that. Like sometimes, even for me, like there's some things that I may want to go towards doing, and I may not, see it. I don't believe it. So you may have the people that's like that will tell you like, oh, I see this in you, you know, but it takes time for you to find that. But that's really great, how he took that and he did that for you, and it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely something that you will definitely continue to thank him for, even now. Now, I know you mentioned before that you definitely was a opener for Ricky Smiley, and of course,
Uh-huh.
everyone knows Ricky Smiley, and you met him, and he was definitely popular at the time. Now, did you and Ricky Smiley go to the same university?
No, 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 no. Ricky went to Alabama State.
Oh,
I went to Stillman College. Both of them are historically black colleges.
mhm.
HBCUs. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah,
Yes, I attended Stillman College, and he's from Alabama. He's from Birmingham. I'm from Tuscaloosa, which is like probably 30, 35 minutes away from each other. And of course, I was always a Ricky Smiley fan. And like I said, I finally got a chance to meet him. He saw me, and the rest is history.
that's how that.
So
It was it like a when you met him. Was it more of like a y'all saw each other at like a college party or like a Q like party or something? And you said, "Hey, like I like
no,
you, man."
no, 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 no. I would go to comedy clubs just to see him in other comics because I had after I saw Sherman Golden, I was like, man, I really want to do this. Let me go check this comedy show out. Let me go check this comedy show out, that comedy. So I was going in, and that's when I saw him and I spoke with him, and he saw me around trying to do it or whatever. And then when he I think that one particular time when he saw me in Stillman, he was like, "Man, yeah, you got it. You ought to go. You ought to really start doing comedy." And so I ended up being his chauffeur,
Hmm.
uh, earning my keep. Him, Doug Williams, and like I said, Ray Ray, and we went all over the country doing it. I was a driver. I was supplying the reels. And like I said, that's just an experience I will always appreciate because it kept me grounded. I learned a lot from those brothers, and through that, I do the same thing with a lot of up and coming comics. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because again, we're living in a different era where people feel like they're entitled, and me, I'm one of those people that believe in hard work and discipline,
Hmm.
and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm doing, I'm kind of blessing people with what I was blessed with the opportunity. And like I said, it's fun, it's interesting, and we grow and we move on.
Amen to that. That most definitely, we grow and we move on. Now, I do want to, get a little bit, personal, not too personal, just a little personal.
Listen, this is your interview. Whatever you ask me, you ask me. I'm just be prepared for the answer.
Okay.
How about that?
Hey, I like that answer. I like that. And now, through your person,
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I say, oh my God, what did I say? Well, I do want to ask though, through your personal journey, as a comedian, I do want to, mention the homelessness that you experienced. Um, how did how does your personal journey through homelessness underscore the importance of caution and in the building of maintaining relationships within the competitive and often volatile environment of the entertainment industry?
What you're asking me is how the hell did I end up homeless? Is that what you're asking me? Through big words and phrases and yeah. Is that what you want to ask me?
Yeah,
Ask the question.
like yeah, how did we got into that? Like
Well, just say, Steve, how the hell that happened? How the hell you end up homeless? Just say that. Say it.
how did you end up homeless, Steve?
No, 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 no. Steve, how the hell you end up homeless?
Steve, how the hell you end up homeless?
Again, you remember I told you that uh being an up and coming comic, you work under comics. They hire you, they fire you, they do all this. Well, one of the particular comics that I work with, we had a long standing relationship. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was jealousy, envy. I don't know what it was, but he started kicking me off shows. The thing is, I didn't know. And at that time, I was really rolling, got me a little apartment that, thought I was doing it, one bedroom apartment, thought I was doing it. And working, head held high, cocky. And next thing I know, the guy that I was opening for, you know, he was kicking me off shows, but he was blaming it on the promoter.
Mm,
And so I let him know, and I was like, man, listen, I don't know what's going on, but every show we do now, I prepare for it and I get kicked off. What's going on? Man, I don't know these promoters, this and this and that. And he blamed it on promoters. So anyway, I as a matter of fact, it was me and my son because
yeah,
my son's
right.
mom, we were she had gone back to college, and that year I was out, I took on the responsibilities of our son. So we were like co-parenting like this. It was like really good. We were really good. So um it came to a head and I ended up getting evicted. I was staying in my car and sometimes at my job. Nobody even knew. You know what I'm saying? I would play it off and but then one of my ex-girlfriends, I met her and she she knew my story and I moved in with her for a couple of weeks or whatever, got myself together and I recouped. But later on, how I found out was really heart-wrenching. The same promoters that was accused of kicking me off shows, they tried to book me. So me being inquisitive, I'm like, wait a minute, you booking me now, but you kicked me off the show and this and that. And he was like, no, we wanted you on the show. Such and such did. My heart dropped. I was hurt. And, uh, and this person I really, really had so much respect for, had so much admiration, and I didn't know that they were doing it. And other comics were telling me that they would blackball me and say things about me or whatever that wasn't true. And it kind of fell apart. But I recovered from it mentally and emotionally, and moved on, and here I am. So again, this is a business where you don't want to get too close to people. You got your people who you going through the fire with, and they're tested and proven, and you can depend on, and they're your constituents or your homies, so to speak. And honestly, I would say this too. I know I'm putting a lot out there, but it's an absolute blessing. I mean, an absolute blessing. I mean, one of those blessings where God has to touch you on your shoulder and say, son, I'm blessing you right now to find a true friend in this business. I'm going to say it again so you can understand where I'm coming from. It is an absolute blessing that if you find a friend, a real friend in this business, because it's such a competitive business until people will do any and everything to get to the top. That's just the entertainment business altogether. But people don't know this about the comedy game because we're supposed to be the ones making you happy and this and that, this and that. But yeah, so I've been blessed in this business to find one or two. I would say this out of my almost 30 years in the business.
Wow.
And that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We do have respect for the ones we like, the ones who respect themselves, and admiration and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. How's the family? Good, great. All right, see you around next show. And that's it. We'll call each other, check on each other every once in a while, and call each other for shows and different favors and all that. But that's pretty much it.
Wow. That's, you know,
Don't cry. Don't cry. It's gonna be okay. It's good.
that, with you telling, this experience, it really just, that's how people that are celebrities, people that, you know, are even regular people like me, we all go through the same experiences. We go through hardships. We go through people that screw us
Excuse
over.
me, excuse me. What do you mean regular people like you?
Like I'm not
No,
famous.
wait, you popping. What are you talking about? Regular people like you. You better speak that shit into existence to my regular people like me. You better say, hey, superstars like myself and aspiring great artists like myself or interviewers like myself. You better speak. You better speak it. You ain't regular. If you were regular, I wouldn't be here. Ain't nothing regular about you.
Thank you. I, you know,
Mm.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm putting my faith in God. I'm putting my faith in, of course, my parents are definitely giving me the encouragement. I'm just trying to go through the
You
way.
got great parents. You got good great parents. And tell your mom and dad I said ain't nothing regular about you. You're special. And I look forward to doing another interview with you on your higher platform because it's coming. Gotta speak it in existence. It's gonna happen.
That's thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. I was gonna say Mr.
Right. See,
Brown.
you almost messed that little lesson up and then Mr.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
There it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
There it is, big homie.
They call me. But with you talking about your experience, we're talking about, you know, a big interviewer like myself,
Hmm.
who, when they go through people and relationships and how people can really screw you over, it really takes a toll on you. And I know in one interview you did say, I moved on from it, I've learned from it, you know, but I'm not going to hold grudges. That's the one thing that, people in general just have to start doing more, not holding grudges, not being so
Mm.
upset. Because when you hold grudges, people don't realize you do block your blessings by doing that.
You know what the thing is? What you're saying is easier said than done. This is when prayer is supposed to take place. This is when prayer is supposed to take place. And you have to look in the mirror and talk to yourself and talk to God. Do I want to stay here or do I want to move on? And yeah, your pride, your hurt, your ego, sometimes it supersedes what you really need to do. But in time, and having faith and believing that you can get past it, you do. And honestly, when I see the person, does a little sting come back, but I keep it moving. I root for them, and that's all I can do because at the end of the day, I don't want to block my blessings for what's going on in my heart. You know what I'm saying? So, you can still have hatefulness, and resentment, and nobody will know, but God is watching, and He ain't giving up that blessing until you clean your heart, you cleanse yourself. And I know comics to today, that same person that did it to me, they literally hate this person, and if they every time you mention his name, they go off. They go off in the tangent. They go like, F him, he ain't this and that, and this and that, and this and that. His whole attitude and demeanor just changes because he has so much hatred built up in him for what the guy did to him. Of course, he did it to him,
Right.
but at the same time, this particular person, he does not want to let it go. You know what I'm saying? He's not even trying to let it go. So, you know, and the person I'm talking about, he's a very, very funny comic, very hilarious, very talented, but he's known for that. He's known for, and it's a going joke in our industry. If you mention this certain person's name, he will go off. Like, it'll ruin his whole day. So I'm just glad that I prayed that off